Hi, I'm Tammy, and I am the Keto Cricket. Hello again, my friends. I'm sorry it's been so long since our grocery shopping has started, but we are going to continue on our grocery haul path and talk today about meat. Yes, you heard me. For you carnivores out there, this is the video for you. If you are a vegetarian, you probably should just skip this video because we're going to talk all about meat and what kind of meat to eat on a keto diet. Does it need to be grass-fed? Does it need to be grain-fed? Does it need to moo or bark or cock-a-doodle-doo? I don't know. Let's find out. The meat we're going to look at is some chicken. I prefer to buy the antibiotic-free. I don't always, sometimes it's just a matter of budget. And actually, if you look here on the video, and I'm not sure if it shows it really clearly, but the Walmart brand was actually more expensive than the Tyson brand by like $1 a pound less for the antibiotic free. So it's kind of funny. Usually we expect Walmart brand or Costco brand or Winco brand or whatever generic brand to be cheaper, but that's not always the case. So always kind of double check every time you go shopping. Don't assume that the brand name is going to be better. And you're going to see throughout this video, we talk about that in a myriad of other items, not just cost, but also health. Sometimes you're really surprised about, you think, oh, if I'm buying Tyson or if I'm buying a name brand product, that it's going to be better. And sometimes it is, but sometimes it's not. So that's not a guarantee. When you are buying chicken, we talked about the antibiotic free. I'm going to throw some facts here on the screen. Y'all can read them and make a decision. Again, choose your budget wisely. If you're looking for the cheapest chicken, buy whole chickens and cut it up yourself. You can get them as cheap as 89 cents a pound. I know where I am. That is a great option, and it's something that you can prepare very easily and quickly and kind of have throughout the week. Your thighs are probably going to be the most keto friendly, I guess, quote unquote, based on macronutrients. So if you're looking at trying to get more fat in, then your thighs are the best way to go. Personally, I don't buy chicken thighs because I don't like greasy meat. I think it's gross, which is why I don't like bacon, as we've talked about before. So I prefer the breasts. But, to make it more keto, I add lots of things to the breast. I'll add cheese and olive oil and sauces and things like that. The other thing you can kind of take a look at is if you like skin. I also do not eat the skin of an animal. It's another thing that just makes me want to vomit. So I don't do that. But as you can see, there's a lot of nutrients in the skin. There's a lot of calories, there's a lot of fat, there's a lot of good stuff in there. So if you are a person that does like that, at least keto is one of those wonderful things that you can indulge in that and have that there. So tips for chicken purchasing: decide whether you want to get fresh or frozen. So fresh at the store, I guess it's not really all that fresh, but I'm not going to defeather the chicken, that's for sure. The other meat that you will probably purchase quite a bit is obviously going to be your beef. Now, I, for some reason, didn't film any beef purchasing. I'm not sure why. It might have been just because when I made this video, I had actually already purchased all my meat at Winco, and this was a Walmart trip. So this is kind of where you want to also make a decision. Do you want to get grass-fed or do you want to get grain-fed, just the regular meat? So I'm going to give you some data on that as well. Again, buy what you can afford. You're making as many health decisions as you possibly can, but don't break the bank. Is there that much of a difference? I don't know. You can look on the screen. There are some things there. Depends on kind of why you're doing keto as well. If you're doing keto predominantly for weight loss, then I'm not honestly sold that you need grass-fed hamburger. Again, do not break the bank purchasing things at first. Honestly, keto can be cheaper than the standard American diet because if you're not eating out at McDonald's and you're not getting French fries and potato chips and candy and chocolates and milk and all these other things all the time, you will find that you're actually going to save quite a bit of money by making these healthy options in the short term. And then in the long term, you're definitely going to save money because if you lose weight, then you're going to have better health. But anyway, that's another video. Let's continue on. So with our beef, I do want to just sum up real quick. You can buy grass-fed or grain-fed. I'm going to give you the information, let you make that decision on your own and do your own research. Don't take my word for it and what I've put on the screen. I know YouTube never lies, right? But do your own research, make your own decision on that as far as hamburger goes, as well as your meats, such as steak and that sort of thing. Again, just like with the chicken, choose the kind of roast and steak that you prefer to eat. Personally, I don't like T-bone steak. I am a weirdo. I know. I am like the most anti-keto person on the planet as far as taste buds go. I swear. You'll find out through this meat video. I don't like T-bone steak. I don't like New York strip steak. I don't even like filet mignon. I really prefer a petite sirloin steak. I'm just a weirdo that way. As far as my roast, I do like some fat on the roast because I cook them in the crock pot usually, and so I want all that nice fat to dissolve off of the meat and cook with it though, so it makes it nice and tender and juicy. So I usually will buy a bottom round roast for that. If I'm doing like a stir fry or something, same thing. I'll probably usually buy a roast. If they have them on sale, I do actually prefer like a London broil for my stir fries. Again, you're going to notice that all these meats that I prefer are pretty low fat. I'm just not like a person that really likes a lot of fat, but I add that to my recipes. So it's not that I'm afraid of fat. I just like it a certain way, I guess. So I really like cheese, so I do okay with my fat intake. But make a decision on that. A lot of times you can get some really good prices at cash and carry. You can buy like a 5 or 10 pound roast and cut it up yourself. I do that quite a bit just because I can then get it for like $2.29 a pound, sometimes even cheaper. If you have the room in your freezer, you can even go out and buy half a cow or a whole cow and have it cut up the way you want it and that sort of thing. So there are a lot of options there. Don't feel like you have to go just to the store. I think just about every town has a butcher of some sort. And maybe not. And maybe I've just always grown up in the West, and so I am used to agriculture being all around me. So don't get mad at me if you don't have a butcher. I'm sorry. You can also purchase things like duck or goose, lamb, I guess, if you want to eat poor innocent baby sheep. I won't judge you. But yeah, other thing you could have if you're a hunter and if you live in the Great Northwest, you probably are or know a hunter. So definitely you could eat elk or deer. You could probably eat some bear as well, basically fish, all that kind of stuff. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about the fish or the wild food in this video, just because I feel like that stuff's all pretty good. The next section I really wanted to talk about and focus on in this particular video for grocery shopping is your meats that are processed. So your bacon, your deli meat, that sort of thing. Take a good look at those items because many of them have added sugars. Most meat, and when I say most, I mean 99.9% of meat, should not have any carbohydrates in it. So if it has carbohydrates on the package, that usually is a pretty good indication that it has added sugar of some sort. There are exceptions to that where it'll say 0 sugars, but it actually has dextrose in it or maltodextrin. Dextrose and maltodextrin again, we have to think about our budgets. And so I am fully aware, and I am not going to judge you if you buy products that have that. It is really hard to find things that don't. But if you can afford it, really try to avoid those. You may even have to go to a Whole Foods or your local butcher to get ham or bacon that isn't smoked in some kind of sugar. It is super, super hard to find that. As you can see here, the dextrose has the same glycemic index value as just plain sugar. So even though it shows as 0 carbs, it actually can spike your blood sugar just as much as regular sugar. When you look up dextrose on the interweb, you will find that it is synonymous with glucose, which glucose is, you guessed it, sugar. So really be thinking about that. If you're doing a keto diet, especially, you're really trying to avoid sugar. So if you're just doing low carb, then maybe you don't care as much. And honestly, again, you don't have to get all intense about it. I don't want you to starve to death because the only bacon in your store has dextrose, and that's your way of eating. Personally, bacon is disgusting, so I don't have that issue. I do like ham though, and so even for me, it's really hard to find a ham that doesn't have some kind of sugar. In fact, I have not been able to find one, and I've only been able to find one kind of deli meat in any of the stores in about a 50-mile radius that has 0 added sugar, and that is an Applegate turkey sandwich slices. That is the only one I found, and it is astronomically expensive. It's like $4.50 for 6 ounces or some stupid amount of money. So it's not like something I eat a lot of anyway. I don't worry about it too much. But that also includes like your roast beef slices that you buy from the deli, not just what you can see and that's already prepackaged, but even if you go right to the deli, ask them to see the package, because they'll usually have something that's still wrapped up in that, and they can show it to you so you can see the nutrition information. But you'll find brown sugar, honey, agave, and a lot of other sugar type items that it was packaged with. So be really aware of what you're purchasing. Don't assume just because it's meat or even just because it's 0 carbs that it doesn't have sugar. So if you have just recently started eating a lot of deli meat and you've noticed that your cravings for sugar hasn't increased suddenly, it's probably not because you've increased your protein, which that's a whole nother video. It's probably because there's sugar inside of your meat product, and that is what is cueing those old cravings. So pay attention. I am going to go ahead and end this video because it is starting to get really long and I don't want you to be sitting here for an hour watching this, but I think it's great information. I'm going to continue to try to put out some additional videos. I will warn you that I have a son that is graduating high school here in a couple of months, and so life has just suddenly become super crazy and hectic. So I apologize if I am not able to put out content as much as I would like to. Filming the videos is always really easy. It's the editing part that seems to take a while. So anyway, I thank you guys so much for your support. If you have any questions, comment below and I will come back to you. Or you can email me at ketocricket@gmail.com. Also, you may have noticed I changed